ladies and gentlemen. Continuing my, the first vlog on Tesseract. So what I'm saying is, it is really interesting to really understand how Tesseract really works. It's not like Interstellar. And then I would also explain how to access it and then be able to use Tesseract technologies. First of all, my Tesseract build was maybe 16 by 16 with 32 frames. Would all have daytime in it, and how would that happen? This is all these 32 frames or maybe more than 60 frames would have sunlight. That's a lot of energy. So in that respect, how to move from, but you imagine that from the top frame to then traveling through the top frame, this is 16 by 16 frame or 20 by 20 frame box. You find yourself into the bottom last frame by whereas what will be the travel path. Since our cognitive is built through Newtonian laws of movement, which needs gravity and which we walk or we drive horizontally, even after a flight, even the plane is flying horizontally, would then make us wonder about this movement path that is horizontal, whereas it would represent a non-linear path, the kind of from finding yourself into a tesseract, accessing it, and then finding using it to then find distant time and space frames and horizons as pre-selected destinations. So it's kind of a non-linear, but then there is such an easy concept that first you need to create imaginary space and time. I mean, imagine, it's a simple, have you seen this, how this YouTube video, these digital application works, or the advent of film, the advent of cinema. What happens is that you have a reel. First they are captured in video camera, all those these numerous takes and scenes, and then a reel is developed where there is a linear progression of movement, where then that's how a film works, which is different than camera or a digital camera of static picture. And while digital world, you have now digital cameras, you have more advanced technologies. How it works is that behind the coding you have linear frames, and then that linear frames are coded and then transformed into a certain pattern of movements, which would be storytelling. It would be also editing would have been done, and that's this works like. So what I'm saying is, not only after Renaissance, the European and modern architecture followed Tesseract methodology, but also this digital world is a natural outcome of Tesseract technologies, whereas you don't really find any explanations in physics, any complex explanation. And only in Interstellar, only a few years ago, they would make a movie where they would show a Tesseract, a well-refined Tesseract, whereas the challenge is that it does not follow a certain material physics, because they are frames, time and space frames. They are they are not like boxes really. They are not steel boxes or plastic boxes, or maybe digital frames. But then it helps us. Digital world is a lot like human imagination. It's kind of an outcome of human imagination and human ideas. I mean, all these Marvel movies and these technologies that Hollywood uses in making movies, which are used in maybe Matrix or Marvel movies, or all those science fiction and superhero movies. Now, the answer is simple. Human mind is inherently coded to work through Tesseract technologies. Now, but here, what is missing in science, what is missing in physics descriptions, is the link between imagination and reality. Though Einstein would say, imagination would take you around the universe, and knowledge is limited. So there is understanding already. So what, I mean, hundreds of years ago, there was clear understanding. To understand Tesseract technologies is a direct outcome of understanding human psychology, human sociology, human cognitive understanding to identify patterns and systematically understand patterns. And that would really go back to the 3,000 years ago, where pyramids are one of the more evident proof that humanity understood that human thought and imagination is an outcome of Tesseract technologies. So, but here the missing